We are a day away from the Rose Bowl, Florida State and Oregon. I'm Jeff Fischel here on the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. And joining me, the campus insider for Florida State, Tim Linafelt. You've followed this team all year long. And at this morning's press conference, Jimbo Fisher talked about number 80, Rashad Greene, and how important he's been to this program.
He really just, you can't say enough about Jameis Winston. He gathers all the headlines, but if there's, a 1B to Jameis Winston's 1A, it's definitely Rashad. For 4 years, been just the most consistent performer on the team, just one of the top guys both on the field, off the field. Guys respect him in the locker room. They respect him in the huddle. Really just an unbelievable player for not just this season, but for 4 years for Florida State.
Have you seen, and I think Jimbo hit on this, the way he's really more of a quiet leader? He doesn't necessarily say a lot, but when he does, the team listens.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? It's anybody can get up in the locker room and start banging around trash cans and kicking over chairs. But when a guy who is normally quiet, when a guy who normally doesn't say anything stands up and says, "Hey, I've got something to say," that's when you can hear the pin drop and things really get done. We saw that especially in the Clemson game. I know Rashad talked about at halftime Florida State wasn't playing very well, and he got up and let guys know that, hey, we're not about to let this slip away. And of course, they came back and won.
Now, obviously, he's crucial to this team, 90 catches this season. He'll be important on offense. Defensively, perhaps the biggest factor for this team is they're finally healthy. Yeah,
Jimbo said the other day that maybe they're the healthiest they've been since the first day of fall camp, which is funny to think about. But yeah, and I think the biggest thing and probably the biggest source of buzz around the practice fields this week is the potential return of Lawrence Stample. He's a big defensive tackle, was off to a really nice start this season before suffering an injury against Clemson. They thought that he wasn't going to play again this season, and yet a couple weeks ago, maybe there was some positive news. Hoping, wishing, and now he's been practicing. It looks like he's going to play. And even if he can just give Florida State a couple plays against Oregon, just give Eddie Goldman, Derek Mitchell, those guys a few chances to take another breather against Oregon's high-tempo offense, it could make a really big difference.
Obviously, because what we talk about so much with Oregon's offense is you need depth because guys are getting tired going up against that tempo.
Exactly right. Especially when you're 6'3", 6'4", 300 pounds. A few plays, guys can get gassed pretty quick. So just having another body, especially one with some experience like Lawrence Stample, can really help a lot.
Now, it'll be interesting to see with 3 weeks off, both teams have that extra time not only to get healthy, but perhaps to add a little wrinkle. Could we see anything from either team?
Oh, absolutely. I think maybe more likely from Oregon. I think Jimbo Fisher really kind of likes to do what he does. I think they have their offense, and he trusts his guys. He trusts Jameis Winston, obviously, trusts Rashad Greene, and now with that offensive line, they trust them too to kind of do what Florida State does, and it's been effective. They've won 29 straight games with it. So I think we might see a few things here and there, but I think by and large, Florida State's going to stick to what's got them here.
I will say, a wrinkle last year here at the Rose Bowl, a fake punt may have been the play of the game that changed things around for Florida State. He's Tim Linafelt. I'm Jeff Fischel. You're watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.